Cinema Trailer News. My name is Chris. So now let's discuss those two post-credit scenes for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Now everything started to make a lot of sense, and I think I got actually a pretty good idea where they might be going. So first off, if you're new here, if you haven't subscribed to your channel, please do so. Keep you more updated, more videos to come. Let's navigate this because it's complicated, especially for casual fans. Now, first, who isn't happy to see Jonathan Majors show up, no matter who is playing? So it's so good that they cast someone who's so charismatic and is clearly having a lot of fun with the role. So now, don't forget He Who Remains. Crucial piece to this puzzle. He Who Remains founded the TVA, an organization that keeps the multiverse in check. While other Kangs, He Who Remains says they just like to destroy the multiverse and mess with the multiverse. And we have two Kangs now said that they're the only one who can fight off all the other Kangs. And we'll see if that turn out to be true. Will Jonathan Majors get to play both villain and hero? I would love that. So perhaps Kang will team up with Ravonna Renslayer at some point. Kang's love interest in the comics, who has now herself lost in time. As you remember, she went to one of the doors at the end of Loki season 1 and said she was going off in search of free will. And if you listen to Kang, that is Kang. So I think it will be interesting if that is where she ends up. So in the two post-credit scenes for Quantumania, we meet 4 more Kang's variants. And is Kang the Conqueror truly there? We're gonna have dive into all of that. But first, get ready to meet a whole lot more variants in Phase 5, not just in Secret Wars, but also Loki will continue to explore variants in Season 2, with other variants beside Kang wreaking havoc. And as for Kang variants, what makes them so special is that thanks to the tech that one of them created and shared with the other ones, they exist outside of time. They stay outside of the multiverse. There isn't just one Kang per universe like we have been seeing with other variants. Kang can go wherever and whenever they want to, like the TVA, which Kang founded. So there's no borders for Kang, whereas other variants need other entity to move them, like the TVA or the Doctor Strange, because they can't move themselves. So in the MCU, He Who Remains is the OG Kang, the original Kang, and it was he who discovered the multiverse and how to traverse it, and then brought together his other variants to help him out, and only then to find out that wasn't a cool idea, because they brought about a multiversal war. And this was all explained with visual at the end of Loki season 1. He Who Remains defeated the other variants using Alia, remember the giant cloud, and repair all the timelines and kept them repaired by creating the TVA. That was the instigating moment. And then Sylvie, a Loki variant, she killed He Who Remains instead of taking over him, and because she wanted everyone to have free will. But she also frees the other Kangs, who immediately began to wreak havoc in the multiverse. You saw the timelines branching out immediately, like when Loki returns to the TVA, suddenly Kang's leadership is no longer so secret. So where were all the Kangs when He Who Remains had defeated them? And remember, this is all based on the comics, but clearly Kevin Feige is making a lot of changes to fit the MCU. Now it seems like in the MCU, all of these banished Kang form the Council of Kang and immediately began policing themselves just like the OG Kang. He Who Remains and Kang the Conqueror, as we know, was banished to the Quantum Realm, and at the end of Quantumania, we see the heads of the Council of Kangs gratefully that at least they believe that Kang the Conqueror is there. So now, in the comics, Immortus is manipulating the Council of Kangs. Keep that in mind. So they will kill off all the other Kangs. So the long story short, Immortus remains the most powerful and protect his own timeline. So really keep an eye on Immortus. So who does seem to be the leader here? With two in second commands, not only does a Kang say that only a Kang can defeat other Kang, but every Kang wants to be the last Kang standing. So in the MCU, the three leaders of the council have been revealed to be Farah, Ramatu, Immortus, and I believe this is a Scarlet Centurion, who is now just likely Centurion to avoid confusion with, of course, Scarlet Witch, and with all the other variants, Kang variants, teleport in for a meeting. Now, in the comics, this is supposed to be like the Roman Senate, and this is a good example. So, in the comics, the OG Kang is from the 31st century, but based on the style of He Who Remains, of the outfits and of the clothing of He Who Remains in the MCU, I'm not too sure that's still the origin of Kang. Also in the comics, the OG Kang is just a time travel villain, which made Kang a lot more simpler. He just resisted throughout time. So anyway, in the comics, the OG Kang, after discovering this technology in the 21st century, hightails into ancient Egypt where technology makes him a god. Sounds familiar? That's right, in the comics, OG Kang does cross path with the very first mutant Sabrina, aka Apocalypse. So that's who Farora Wamatar is. That's another version of Kang. So as for Immortus in the comics, he lives in limbo outside of time. So maybe in the MCU, that's where the Council of Kang is located. He's one of the oldest Kang, and it's more about pulling the string and manipulating people than outright physical conflict. One cool thing he's associated with, I like this from the comics, is the Legion of the Unliving, an army of Marvel characters from their timeline, just like the TVA employees are, but yanked from the timelines right before they were killed, and I can think of a couple of MCU candidates for that legion. That would be very cool. And Immortus also was the person who officiated the wedding of Scarlet Witch and Vision, again underscoring Kang not only lives outside of time but outside of the construct of hero and villain. As for the Sentry, he's more noticeable for wearing armor based on Dr. Doom's. Also, I wish that Farah Ramatu, that his Egyptian gap look authentic. And perhaps that is why I love the Loki post-credit scene so much, where Loki and Mobius are undercover demonstration by Victor Timeline. So in the comics, Victor Timeline is simply another Kang variant who hides out in 1901 Wisconsin, establishing the town or timeline and appointing himself mayor. Fun side note, here Victor Timeline comes across with a young Phineas Horton who goes out to invent the original Human Torch, who is more Iron Man than Fantastic Four member. Perhaps the MCU Victor Timeline may come across an even an earlier Stark ancestor. I love that idea so much. Alright, so who is Victor Timeline in the MCU? Is that a younger version of He Who Remains and his origin story? Some of the furniture seem old fashioned, and I heard that Loki season 2 Victor Timeline will be trying to build up his chair and his multiversal engine, and Loki naturally will be trying to stop him. Now he might be Kang the Conqueror from Quantumania, and he actually doesn't die but gets stranded again, this time in 1901, and that's him. Now some people believe that he becomes the Beyonder, and he says his revenge with Secret Wars, because in the comics the Beyonder is responsible for Secret Wars and he works with Kang. And rumor has it that in the MCU a variant of Kang will be responsible. He will actually be the Beyonder himself, or maybe it'll be the Council of Kang who sets off Secret War. I could see that. We'll find out. Now, here's a theory. Victor Timeline is he who remains at the very beginning of his journey after we and Loki saw him at the very end. And the only good Kang we ever meet to this day. And perhaps while Loki sees out to him initially, Victor Timeline might be the Kang who will stop all the other Kangs, the lone hero in a sea of villains. And how ironic that would be that Loki of all people is the one to find him, and I bet only Loki will believe that a villain could be a hero. Oh, I like that so much, and I think that would be perfect. But it's so many possibilities. But after each project comes in, will get a more clear idea of what direction they will go. But they can go with either of these directions, honestly. But I'm pretty excited, especially for this Kane in Loki season 2. I'm very curious to see how that plays out. But just that's all my thoughts on the two post-credit scene for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your theories? What do you think of those two post-credit scenes? And what do you think of Jonathan Majors, and are you excited for Loki season 2? So let me know down in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, consider subscribe to the channel. Bye bye.